got mindless contentment. Well, I got mindless contentment. Well, I got mindless contentment. Well, I got mindless contentment. I don't wanna watch TV. I don't even wanna be with me. I don't wanna do anything. I don't wanna do anything, anything, anything. Well, I got mindless contentment. Yes, I got mindless contentment. Well, I got mindless contentment. Well, I got mindless contentment. I know, I know, I know, no. I know, no. I know, I know, no. I know, no. I know, no. Well, I got mindless contentment. Yes, I got mindless contentment. I don't wanna watch TV. I don't even wanna be with me. I don't wanna do anything. I don't wanna do anything, anything, anything. Well, I got mindless contentment. Well, I got mindless contentment. Well, I got mindless contentment. What do you got? Well, I got mindless contentment. I know, I know, no. I know, no. I know, no. I know, I know, no. I know, no. I know, no.
Happy Friday. Well, I know that I got mindless contentment. I can't tell you how happy I am that, for whatever reason, maybe it's because they're an old punk rock band and they were totally anti-establishment, but nobody's ever said jack shit about me using that song. I'm really surprised because it's on a compilation album too. So, what is it on? I don't know. Maybe we get some musicians in here or music lovers, and they might be able to help me out. It's Killed by Death. Yeah, Killed by Death. It's like a punk rock compilation thing. There's only, I don't know what they said. Freaking hundreds of albums, hundreds of compilation albums under that label or something. It's just a lot. It's kind of crazy. Good jam though. The Valhalla I'll probably never remember. Name of the song is Mindless Contentment, and it is true. Yeah. God, why can't I? What the fuck? The Plugs. That's the Plugs there with Mindless Contentment. I would love to, I don't know, I like that song for a full-time TV2 Live theme song, but I can't seem to accept that. I should be writing my own theme song. I have, I guess, a bunch of different times. So what's going on, folks? Happy Friday. I don't know if it's going to be possible to ignore the elephant in the room or not, but like already been so much said on the matter, and yeah, I mean we have unfortunately killings every day in this country, or I'm guessing there is at least a homicide daily. It's unfortunate, but because yeah, we would rather, most of us would rather have these battles. On an intellectual field, right? Not a battlefield. I am just doing some looking around. I have to keep up on my Okay, so there we go with that. Unfortunately, it seems like every time, and I don't know when the last time I streamed was, Sunday or Monday or something. It's been a while. May Yeah, it might have been Monday, Sunday or Monday. I think the weather change, which it's was been nice again the last couple days, and it's gonna be nice for a while. I mean, it wasn't like it cooled off for about a week. Like we only had highs in the 60s. Yeah, I don't know. I just am like, either I'm getting old. I need to make some more fucking good habit changes because I don't have the energy anymore, and it bums me out. Jay, what's up, brother? Happy Friday. Jay says Nick Fuentes Groper Army has been fighting with Charlie Kirk since 2019. It's like the Hatfields and McCoys of the Third Reich. Well, the Hatfields and McCoys. Yeah, I don't know if it's good or not, Jay. Like, I don't pay a lot of attention to, and I guess not, to be honest. I mean, I guess I don't know who I don't pay attention to because if I don't pay attention to them, then I guess I don't really know that they're out there. But, and honestly, yeah, Charlie Kirk, the name, you know, would come up and it would sound familiar, and I'd see his face here and there on the news or whatever far right groups. I'm sure that Trump probably did some rallies with or for Turning Point, whatever. So I streamed a lot of those. Shooter is a Nick Fuentes grouper. Groiper. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that word right or not, Jay. An alt right gamer, bro. Not a Democrat, not Antifa, not trans. You know what, brother? You know what really irritates me or that is like scary is that all of a sudden, even the mainstream media has picked up on this Antifa thing. And they've now gone farther and are even saying, you know, this is a battle against anti-fascism or whatever. And it's like, what the fuck is wrong with the world? Why all of a sudden is it a bad thing to fight against fascism? I'm serious. Like, what in the fuck is going on? It's very hard. That's really hard for me to accept. It's like, I don't know how to deal with that. Like, what if we have mainstream media, like journalists, American journalists, whether they're American journalists or not, but American journalists, mainstream American media companies that are playing into this far right extremism and, using the term anti-fascist, not just Antifa, but anti-fascist as some sort of negative thing. It's like, how is that? Why? Does anybody on the right care to it'd probably make me sick. I'd probably get irate. But I could see somebody asking, someone like Charlie Kirk, why are you so hell-bent on, fighting the anti-fascists? Does that not make you a supporter of fascism? I mean, how would they explain that? Human says, I tried pointing that out in Muppet Channel. They cannot hear it psychologically. They are unable to comprehend and acknowledge it. Yeah, it's I don't get it, dude. It really, really fucking, it's like one of the major things that eats me up lately, because it's like, really? Do I have to be concerned about being labeled a terrorist if I say I am against fascism? Because it would suck. I guess I would have to accept being labeled a terrorist, because I don't know how I could live with myself if I, bent to that kind of fucking insane pressure. Right. Jay says they still don't believe the two guys that tried to take out Donald were registered Republicans. And yeah, it is the base. Like, that is also a factor and a concern. But it's all these people with the fucking, who have the bullhorn, right? All these people who get the ears and the attention from right or left, but from America in general, right? Like the Republican politicians, these far right influencers. It's like they're the ones feeding the cult, the base, the bullshit, right? Gloria, cheers. What's up, sister? Yeah, right. Yeah, they say they're secretly Democrat. Well, it's a whole, like, I tell you what, Jay, fucking Putin is taking notes on propaganda now from the GOP. They are. He is. I mean, it is just full on whatever is the opposite of the truth. That's what the Republicans are gonna, how do you debate or push back against somebody who says, yeah, this guy was a registered Republican, but he was faking it. It was a false flag. It was a setup. They want you to think, the Democrats want you to think that Republicans are coming after Trump. It's like, how are we going to defend against that? Sit here and say as individuals, we totally oppose any sort of nonsense like that, doesn't get us anywhere. And I'm, not hammering down on you because I don't have a fucking solution. I don't have any idea what our country needs to do or where it goes from here, even minute to minute. Try and stay calm. It's about all I can think. Jay says, look back over the last 3 days. Who was saying both sides need to put an end to political violence? Exactly. It was the Democrats and the liberals. Jay, I'm glad you don't fucking dip in on the fucking White House shit. It's a fucking mess. But I could not. I was proud of myself, and of course I seen Human and a lot of other of our folks over there maintain it pretty well, but it was astounding the pile of shit that not just me that came at any of the regular lib chatters, but obviously because I have this absolutely menacing channel. I was just, you could tell I'm pretty set back about just how intense and extreme and nasty their fucking rhetoric was yesterday. I mean, just they wanted me to say so badly that Kirk deserved, what happened, and he didn't. You know what I mean? That's not, we want people to, it would have been, most of us would feel that it would have been much better to engage exactly the way he had, and just keep showing him. Let him get a little older. Let him raise his kids. Let him see what the world's like, not just as a young single man or newly married, right? Live a whole life like TV has. Raise your kids to adulthood. And obviously, we don't want people to fucking go through their whole life fucking with their head up their ass. But, it'd be much better. And I know all of you feel this way or, similar, that it'd be much better to see a light go on in someone's eyes and see them change, and stop the frickin', the hate and speech and, the nonsense about supporting guns, even if we have a handful or however many deaths, innocent people dying because we don't have decent gun legislation, right? Human asked if anybody's heard from Jesse Waters or Nancy Mace. I have not personally. Yeah, Jay says it. Well, I was glad to come home today and see that they had caught this guy, because last night when I went to bed, I was really astounded by what a complete fucking circus it was. I mean, what a blunder. It's still, no matter what, it was still like I can kind of justify, or I guess see some sort of justification for that late presser last night that was that I streamed. It's like 10 minutes long, just the governor. Cash came out, stood next to him for a few minutes, and then that was it. So now I see that they must have been very, very close to apprehending this guy, is why that presser, I think, went the way it did. They probably would have had more to say, but they figured they must have knew they were very close to grabbing him. Which, whatever, I'm fine with that. They should have just never done the presser, but at that moment, it was pretty fucking crazy considering how the investigation had gone up to that point. Yeah, and it's still going on. Like, I am nosing around in some other chats. It's pretty crazy. Even that fucking, God, what is it? Magneto News or something like that. Some far right YouTube nut. It's kind of like 500,000 subs, but his stream title last night was something about Charlie Kirk murder, and it's like, are you fucking kidding me, dude? That's what pisses me off. It's like, the only way this changes is if a lot of people on the right start calling out this bullshit of making this, trying to turn this guy into a martyr. You can't just turn him into one. You can't say he's a martyr, or just saying he's a martyr doesn't make him one. He just won't be. He isn't. He was murdered for, absolutely nonsense, just no reason at all. Nobody can wrap their mind around why some moron has to go that far. Yeah, Jay, I was pissed about that too. Even on Al Jazeera, I seen that they said that and it's like, there's no evidence of this. And I'd be, even now, even with Patel running the FBI, right? Like, the people that Trump has in place, I'm still telling you guys, and it's not that I don't want to believe it. I don't believe it. It's not that I don't want to. I don't believe right now that them fuckers would go so far as to plant a gun that had some sort of fucking, this is where what I was saying a minute ago, the news said it was anti-fascist and trans statements or comments. And it's like, what the fuck does that mean? What do you mean? Why can't you tell us exactly what it said if you know that it said something to that effect? Why can't we be told exactly what was written on that gun or whatever? Like Bill said, supposedly the casings had TRN on it, and that's a fucking ammunition company. It's like, yeah, who engraves fucking shell casings? Gloria says, I think Trump delayed it so that he'd be the first to announce it on Fox Morning Show this morning. I don't think he was I seen that, Gloria. Somebody else just said that too, that Trump broke the news. And it's like, I don't think he did. I could be wrong on that, sister, but I swear that they were independent, like, creators, journalists, influencers, whatever you want to call folks like who do this kind of shit. I mean, I don't consider myself a journalist at all, but there are a lot of people that stream that hunt down stuff. So, yeah, I believe you, sister. I don't know. For some reason, I thought that it had actually been announced on YouTube or something before that. Oh yeah, Jay, and a good example, like Sin just hammering down on me, and this I promise you this is gonna be the last time I mention her because I'm not gonna feed them. They want to anytime they want to be sane and rational and have a debate from an honest starting point, then I'm good with that. But like just all your stream titles, TV, are inciting violence against the right. They're lies. I mean, this kind of shit just over and over every minute, every fucking post. And it's like, you don't think what you're saying right now is radicalizing folks against me, and they can just easily go find my channel. And is that what you want? Even though my stream titles are not lies. They are not inciting violence. It's my view posting honest, factual, whether it's stream titles or whatever I say in here on the stream. My shit doesn't get edited. It hasn't been taken down for a very long time. Jay says they reveal the etchings, and they are Groper memes and cheat codes for Helldiver 2. Oh, it actually is a fucking game thing? Jay says Bella Chow meme is from Ironheart's 4. Now a Grouper meme. MAGA says it's the Democrats' fault because they called Charlie Kirk Charlie a Christo-fascist and go on to call half the nation vermin, demons, satanic pedo cannibals, and of course communists. Right. And after I found out what his thoughts were on January 6th being a supposed hoax and false flag and inside job, I stand by what I say. He should have never been shot in the neck. And he was completely wrong and did nothing but cause a hell of a lot of damage through what he had to know was true lie. I mean, and we can get into that too. I mean, it's really disgusting that someone that founded a religious organization, right? A Christian-based, this Turning Point thing is all about Christianity, right? And politics maybe, but it's like Christian-based, not like conservative-based. So I really struggle with these. None of us are perfect. We've all been less than honest. Back in the day, used to be called white lies. I haven't heard that term in a while. A lie is a lie. White lie, whatever, however you want to fucking try and sweeten it up. A lie is a lie. And so it really is fucking, I don't know. I guess, like, I don't know. I know, my daughter is married to a preacher's son. I spent plenty of time in church as a kid. Wasn't like a regular thing when we were kids, but I was not unfamiliar with church at all. And then spent a few years solid by myself as an adult, just going to church to learn. Didn't do any fellowshipping because that was, I think you that's an echo chamber. It can be. And I know that we have here, even some of my liberal family members are people of faith, and you guys know I don't bash that. It's the dogma and the hypocrisy and the heresy that is. I mean, I've taken so many good things from the church, but it's very difficult to speak on it or talk about it because it's made up of, people just like us from all over. And we see that, and it's like, I don't think saying that, hey, I'm not a religious person somehow gives me the right or a free pass to be a liar or to be full of shit or to say and do immoral things, right? But I think if you're going to sit there and stand on that, shouldn't you give some more effort? I mean, is it that hard to not fucking lie? So I struggle with that part of the far right nuts, and how that there's every Sunday, every day of the week, when you have these devout Christians that register vote, believe in Republican policies, when whether it's in a church pew or they're sitting at home and they hear something from one of these folks that they think that they coincide with, and it strikes an odd chord with them, and they don't absorb it. They just kind of let it, yeah, that's odd, and then don't even file it away and keep track of it. It's like, how do we deal with that? How do we deal with the fucking far left folks that are that don't give a shit, that are just extreme and want to be, because most of us believe in the right to protest and all that stuff. But I've even said, it's like those folks out in front of the LA ICE facility every night. And to be honest, I'm thankful that I don't know if there's been a single person that has been down there every night consistently just to be present. But I know that there are folks that do that regularly. And then there are folks that are down there no matter how few of folks are down there or not, and they just want to get in the face of these National Guard or ICE agents. And I'm not defending any of what is going on with these ICE agents or who they are personally. But I'm saying, just go down there and make yourself present. You don't have to, if you want to sit there and give your speech and whatever, you're not helping yourself and you're not changing anything by having a lot of animosity or building that up. And you have every right to be angry. Richard Stubblefield says, Antifa TV2 account, you support BLM, Antifa, Intifada, chant, burn American, you support violence, you are a going liar. Are you drinking, Rich? Rich, I could have you on screen. You want to join me? You want to come on, join me right now? And then you can explain to me what you mean by, do I believe that Black Lives Matter? I do believe that Black Lives Matter. I don't know what Intifada is exactly because I'm not into religion. I know it has something to do with the battle between Islam and Jews, possibly. I don't know, Rich. So you're making up some shit there. I've never chanted "Burn America," so and I don't like wouldn't cheer that. You know what I mean? Like that's what we're trying to stop is Trump from burning America. And so, yeah, Rich, it's real easy for you folks. Like I said, mentioned some of the Chud chatters earlier. It's very easy for you guys to sit in a chat anonymously and say all kinds of things about a guy that puts his face, his voice, his words, right? Out there. I put myself out there, Rich. I'm not asking for any fucking pat on the back. But I would appreciate if you could elaborate. Do you want to explain what's wrong with saying that Black Lives Matter? I mean, do you think that Black lives don't matter? I've already explained my position on fascism. I mean, if you want to come in and tell me how and why you support fascism and why it's so great, come on. You got about 2 more minutes, Rich, and then I'm just going to assume you were in here trying to radicalize people violently against me, my family, our moderators, anybody that chats in here. Is that what you're doing, Rich? You just trying to radicalize folks against us? Yeah, Richard never does. Because all they want, Jay, is they want to hear down the road somehow that somebody kicked one of our asses because they support free speech so much, This is, let me make sure I got some volume. Anyways, this is, I don't know if Jay wanted me to read the article. I can. Let's hear what Cashew has to say.
In 33 hours, we have made historic progress for Charlie. I want to express my deep gratitude to President Trump, the Vice President, and the entire White House who have been so incredibly supportive with both resources and just personally to the FBI as a team. Lastly,
why won't he look straight into the camera with both eyes?
To my friend Charlie Kirk, rest now, brother. We have the watch, and I'll see you in Valhalla.
Valhalla? What the fuck is that? Is that like a reference to heaven or something? I don't know. Anywho. The killing of conservative activist Charlie Kirk has reignited tension on a long simmering feud with elements of the far right, particularly between Kirk and the so-called Groyper. Groyper? Yeah, I'm really struggling with that word. Groyper. Groyper movement led by white nationalist Nick Fuentes. Kirk was also shot and killed on September 10th during an appearance at Utah Valley University. As authorities investigate the motive, online speculation has turned towards the extremist faction that once targeted Kirk. Specifically Fuentes, Groyper Army, which Grouper. Is it pronounced Grouper? Grouper Army, which has long accused him of being an insufficiently radical. So Fuentes has apparently accused Charlie Kirk of not being radical enough. Well, I guess maybe I need to pay more attention to this Fuentes guy. Again, another name that I'm familiar with. It's not like every fucking left, lib or whatever influencer that I hear about, I go paying attention to, or no matter how big that, like, I don't even know. I mean, like Midas Touch, for instance. I know they're a huge liberal influencer media group, and I don't watch much of them. Not for any particular reason. I just like smaller independent people, I guess. During the 2019 Groper Wars, Groper, can I say Groper instead? Fuentes supporters disrupted Turning Point USA events, challenging Kirk on immigration and LGBTQ rights while labeling him a gatekeeper of establishment conservatism. Now, as the public searches for answers in Kirk's assassination, that conflict with far right is back in the spotlight, with renewed scrutiny on the rhetoric and influence of Fuentes and his followers. Social media users have also questioned whether early claims by officials that the suspect apprehended late Thursday was tied to left-wing extremists were premature, pointing instead to possible links to the far right. As of Friday afternoon, it remained unclear what the motive was in the Kirk shooting or the political ideology of the alleged gunman. Robinson's family said he had become more political in recent years, according to police. The markings on the bullet casing suggest the subject was steeped in meme culture and made reference to online taunts and anti-fascist messages. Interesting. And made references to online taunts and anti-fascist messages. So that's saying that this guy was someone that, did not like folks like us or me calling out fascists. The Groper Army is a far-right online-based movement organized around white nationalists and America First advocate Nick Fuentes. According to the Anti-Defamation League, the ADL, the group consists of alt-right, white nationalists, and Christian nationalist activists who hold virulently anti-Semitic, racist, and homophobic views, often cloaked in rhetoric about traditional values and families. This mascot is a cartoon frog called Groper, a variant of the Pepe meme, used widely among extremist groups. Yeah, I never knew where that fucking frog came from. The term Groper began circulating widely in 2019 during a public feud inside the conservative movement. Groper, Jesus Christ. That year, followers of Nick Fuentes disrupted college events hosted by Charlie Kirk and his group, Turning Point USA, accusing Kirk of watering down Donald Trump's message. The clash, later referred to the Groper Wars, drew national attention for its confrontational tactics and for pushing white nationalist ideas into more mainstream conservative circles. Kirk responded by calling the Groper extremists. He defended his approach to conservatism as inclusive, saying that the movement should be open to people of all backgrounds and reject racism and homophobia. Yeah, but didn't he speak out against LGBTQ as well? What has Nick Fuentes said about the Charlie Kirk killing? Fuentes has made several public statements about Kirk's assassination. Shortly after the killing, Fuentes posted, "I am devastated. It feels like a nightmare that will never wake up from," and called for unity, writing, "The violence and hatred has to stop. Our country needs Christ now more than ever." Well, right. Like, if you mean the only way that the violence and hatred is going to stop is if the second coming happens. Yeah. I mean, you can pray and there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying that that's silly or whatever you want to do. But you also have to not spew violence. You can't go saying, all libs deserve to be killed and then forgive me, Jesus, or maybe he's talking about praying for all libs to be killed. I don't know. We need more from the Trump administration than what we're getting, he wrote on X. Release all the information about the assassin and his Discord contacts. Everyone must be investigated. Tell us the plan. How will the government stop this from ever happening again? Where is the leadership? All right. Jay, thanks for that. Appreciate you. Yeah, I've read a lot on. Hey, Bear, what's up, sister? Happy Friday to you. Hey, Bear says Sin is a grouper. She used to use Pepe as a profile pic. Yeah, I do not stay up on any of that. Obviously, I am familiar with that frog picture, but I had no idea. I just thought it was related to Trump somehow. I didn't know anything about this group until Jay had, and I mean, maybe you guys have mentioned it before, possibly, but yeah, Jay says the shooter shells were grouper memes, so hold on, I gotta turn this air off behind me. It was warm up here. Holy cow. God, I wonder what's going on with my ears lately. My ears have been fucking ring. All of a sudden, they'll just start ringing like mad. I haven't listened to any loud music in I don't know how long. Too long, honestly. It's probably been seriously, like, I haven't even. I think the only tune I've listened to in the last 10 days probably was A-Golf's latest post. Which, when I first seen the title, Jay, I was thinking it was the classic bubblegum rock tune, Book of Love. Purpose of a man is to love a woman. Love, 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 la 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 love. Groiper. Gotcha. Thanks, bro. Thank you. That's what I should have asked for in the first place, was the pronunciation. Groiper. Groper works, though, too, right? When referring to the far right kooky dukes. All right. Yesterday was tough. I mean, I knew that I had to maintain because it was, like I just said, it's like I wasn't going to get anywhere no matter what I said, how absolutely cemented it was in facts. I wasn't, it wasn't the time for me to. And I have no intentions on speaking as much as we have on the matter anyway. It's just I knew it was going to be impossible to avoid, but yeah, I'm not. It's just like, it sucks. I mean, people are being fucking shot on the left and right all over the place. I mean, we have the president has a secret police force or army that is terrorizing the streets and neighborhoods of our country. So, again, the hypocrisy is pretty. I don't know what to say. I thought for sure that I hadn't even thought of any other worst case scenario other than how far is Trump going to go with his police state wet dreams. And now it seems like we may have a bigger concern, or just a bigger concern, with huge groups of American citizens being at each other in more ways than just political debate. I mean, it's I don't see how anybody, right, left, middle, can look at this situation and go, okay, this is what finally had to happen. Like, there's been people, again, high profile folks on the left and right, that have been killed, shot at, threatened, attacked, stalked in the worst ways, right, by mobs. And to use what seems to be like a far right extremist attack on another far right extremist, and say this is the catalyst for doing away with liberals, physically, politically, whatever. We're in a tough spot. It'd be nice, if, Jay, if somehow they were able to, at least another percentage of them, whatever, right, brother? I'll take whatever we can get. If some of them all of a sudden realized we're just sickened by all of it and realize that they have to now start doing better. In their rhetoric, whatever they say. Yeah, they did need him to be a Democrat. I agree. And it sucks to say that, brother, but I know what you mean. I hope folks, anybody going to be going back and watching this, reading the comments, Jay says they really need him to be a Democrat. And I agree that and when you think about them needing that, why? They need that catalyst. Why? Because they want to inflict damage, harm, destruction on anything that is not MAGA or Trump conducive, right? And that should just frighten the shit out of everybody in the world, not just here at home. Yeah, they need to stand up, though, brother. Agal says there are OG Republicans out there. They need to stand up, though, man. I mean, because folks like me standing up, saying, hey, this isn't cool. Like, I don't know how many times I have to say over the last couple of days that it was absolutely madness, uncalled for, insanity that somebody did that Kirk was shot. I mean, it just, we all know. I mean, it just isn't, it helped. It did nothing but make everything worse. She says, look back over the last 3 days, who was saying both sides need to put an end to political violence. Right on, brother. Who was calling for war? Take inventory. Both sides are not the same. Yeah, I agree. I agree 100%. And you know how I feel. It's like that's the kind of shit we need to get back to. Like, we have all kinds of work to do. And I think I just using myself as an example, like, I don't know too many rational, honest folks that can say, I don't need to work on anything about myself, right? Like, you're not being honest if you could, no matter if you're on the left, right, whatever. So I know I have plenty I can work on about myself, and I kind of transfer that to the Democrat Party as well. There's plenty of work we can do in the party, and it'd be cool to get back to that. But when we have this absolutely false narrative, like Jay said, about the Democrats being the same as Republicans, it's we have to fucking get through that first, and which is what he's saying, and I don't know how we do. I mean, when you have, again, one side that, for the most part, most of these folks just refuse to start from an honest, or debate from an honest starting point, right? There has to be some sort of common ground to initiate this. And it doesn't seem like the extreme far right wants anything to do with that. And if there's anybody on the right that hasn't, that does think that what's going on is just too much, they're not speaking up. They're leaving it up to idiots like me who don't have a fucking voice. I don't have a big voice, and you people are sitting back because you have a bank account and you're in a neighborhood where you don't have to worry about it. Maybe you don't do public appearances, right? Maybe you're my age or older, and you can just keep voting for what you want, even if or what is right. And even if you think what's going on here on the right isn't kosher, you're just going to keep your thoughts to yourself. And that's really, I don't know how. I guess it's easier to live with yourself like that than as opposed to going out and supporting the shit vocally, but there's not much difference. Like, either you're part of the solution or part of the problem. Clearly, it's been like that in our country for a little while now. No, I love your rants, brother. I don't ever, Jay, I tell you what, dude, I do, like, sometimes, and it's probably just me, right? Like, as a person, like, because you guys, I can't hide. I can sit here and say I don't get pissed off, but everybody knows I do. But I'm not irate. Sometimes I've had a rant. I've even admitted, like, I've gone back and, like, God, that 3 minutes of that stream last night was, the stream was like 2 hours, did fine, man. And then that one 3-minute part, I just should have kept it to myself. Not that I'm ever ashamed or embarrassed of what I say, just how I say it. But yeah, I don't think I never see you as ranted, brother. You're always throwing up good shit. And we do need criticism. I mean, we need and it's a great thing. It's like, some of the best compliments I've ever gotten were just from people I don't know that well who have paid attention to my thoughts or whatever. I think people get a little surprised how much I care because I am a wound up motherfucker, and I hate that maybe people see who I am and try and put that on any of our moderators or our chatters or anybody that hangs out here, right? Like, nobody here is responsible for me. And again, I'm never ashamed of anything I've said, maybe just how I've said it. I don't know about ashamed. I think I'm able to look back at plenty of times and go, I could have done better. And so, tomorrow I'm going to do better or whatever, right? Like, even with these streams, like right now, I'm still dropping F-bombs a little bit more than I want, but yeah, I've been pretty mellow the last couple streams. Maybe it's been good that I haven't been. Sometimes after not streaming for a few days, I get on and I'm just like fucking Tasmanian devil. Oops. All right, a kickback. So, and I'm torn for tomorrow. I think A-Golf might know. I believe there's like some big protest scheduled for tomorrow right here in the States. And I am going to, around 5 o'clock dinner time, I'm going to see my daughter and granddaughters before they move to Florida. But I am planning on starting early since I'm East Coast time. And it'll be a bummer. I'll have to be leaving at around 4:30, 5 o'clock, and I'll be gone for a few hours, but that'll be prime time if there is anything going on, but I'll be on top of that again tomorrow. Like I say, tomorrow during the day and then again tomorrow night. So Jay says, I was scared he was going to be some marginalized person and MAGA was going to go full atrocity in response, right? They started sending bomb threats to HBCUs yesterday over Charlie. Even after a vid showed the guy was white. Yeah. What is HBCU? Is that some sort of university? A black college, possibly? Yeah, I don't know, Jay. It seems like, and I feel what you're saying there about it being, you're worried, concerned it was going to be somebody is marginalized in our society, right? But it seems more and more to me like these people tend to be spoiled brats. Historic black college, right on. Thanks. Yeah, man, it's I think, for the folks, and I wouldn't put this on everyone on the right, obviously, or even close. And I'll just say that I don't know, but if I can see for sure, because where I grew up, I know there's plenty of folks out there that just plain hate minorities, like with a passion, right? Like that's their whole fucking life, is just to wake up every day and spew the N word, and right, and then you see how they treat anyone that is quite a bit younger than them or female. So I just hope that none of that shit is able to get any traction, brother, because how's it going to affect even folks like me and you, right? Who, like, I live in a freaking county that is, I don't know, 40% black. Like, you go downtown, I'm out in the sticks, but you drive west towards the lake 10 minutes, you're in, Muskegon Heights, which in 2014 had the most murders in our country, and it's only a city of 30,000 people. But but I'm me, and it's not, I don't have fucking racist tendencies. And so, but I ain't dumb, and I know how to get along well with anybody, and I know when and where not to be, but, and that kind of sucks. But I mean, I've never been intimidated to not go somewhere as I've really wanted to. You know how many times I've had my fucking black brothers and sisters tell me, Troy, you got to get out of here, or don't be going down into that couple blocks down that way, or, seriously. So that's going to make it tougher if that kind of shit happens. And it's certainly some folks, have that in mind. Like, and it's hard. It would be hard to blame folks of color, right? Like, to when the president's party, for instance, or the folks politically that support him, or even like just everyday beliefs, not necessarily policies. If they're waging war against you, you're not gonna you're gonna be leery of every white motherfucker, especially folks my age, I guess, white guys my age, So that makes it tough. It's a whole nother factor. Gloria says, I think it was 4 that went into lockdown and shelter in place due to some extreme threats, TV. Yeah. So if we don't, man, I'm just thinking about my wife, It's like we we live out in the sticks. We don't live in a fucking dangerous neighborhood or anything like that, And I grew up farther south than where we are. She grew up a little farther northwest, which she grew up with, we had 2 black families in my town. She grew up with, went to school in a much more diverse school district. So it's just people going to be on edge, right? Can you imagine running into a huge fucking radicalized Charlie Kirk fan right now, and you had your fucking mask on, right? Like you had a fucking face mask on, because we're getting back into the fucking flu season, and COVID is on the rise again. Can you imagine? I mean, that's what We're going to be hearing about that, and it sucks because there aren't liberals out there carrying a fucking gun around just because they can. And so when some fucking nutcase with a fucking Trump Vance bumper sticker pulls up, like they don't have to worry about being fucking shot at, for one, because libs don't do that. Two, we're not carrying our guns around because we don't need to. Like, there's no threat except for from radicalized people, whether they're on the right or left. It's the radicalized people. And then it's those soft-minded, really fucking weak folks that are going to get all emotionally involved and be unable to control themselves. And maybe they carry their gun every day anyhow. And now they're going to fucking run into some fucking evil lib at the gas station who has a face mask on, and they're fucking sick of it, right? That's coming. I hate to say it. I don't wish it. I shouldn't say it because I don't want to don't even need to put that juju out there. I know it's already out there. Egolf says the Boogaloo Boys were a BML protest on a mission to generate race war, and they did not think Black Lives Matter or care about racially motivated police brutality. Yeah, it's just they've taken everything. Jay, they've done such a phenomenal job at twisting everything. Twisting everything. I don't know how many times I brought up the domestic violence statistics and the groups of people that are mostly involved in domestic violence. It's like the largest group literally is air traffic controllers. They are, if you took any one occupation, air traffic controllers have the most domestic violence incidences or charges. And then the number 2 group, and this is, you don't hear when police departments or law enforcement are given statistics on this sort of thing, it never fucking comes up. The number 2 occupation involved with officer-involved domestic violence is law enforcement. So it's like 36% of domestic violence cases involve a member of law enforcement. And by involve, I mean they are the perpetrator of the domestic violence. So it was 50-some% or something like that, close to it for the air traffic controllers, and then the remaining percent obviously across the board. The really troublesome part for me is that 92% of domestic violence cases are prosecuted, but only 18% of, maybe it was 12, 18, we'll just go with 18%. 18% of those cases involved law enforcement. So out of 100% of domestic violence cases, 36% of those are perpetrated by law enforcement or a member of law enforcement. But only 18% of the total convictions are of the law enforcement that perpetrated the domestic violence. I don't know what the percentage was for the air traffic controllers. Abear says, I think the right has done a really crappy job of twisting things, but it's so frequent and buckshot, it's like a leaky. Well, yeah, Abear, I mean, it's not like what they say isn't hard to debunk, right? Or I get what you're saying, sister. but again, obviously, I bring it up a lot. It for sure, it's just a lot of piles of shit as large and frequent as possible, right? And so it gets very convoluted. And again, we're only talking. I mean, I'm talking about the simpletons, right? Folks that just they're either lazy or they're just so invested in Trump that and maybe don't maybe they have a really large ego and a really small brain. You know, those are terrible combinations. I'm gonna have to go make a cocktail, you guys. It is live and loud. Fluid Topic Friday. We have 416 days, 3 hours, 44 minutes, and 20 seconds until the midterm elections in 2026 on November 3rd, should we make it that long. When I get back, I did see that Trump had mentioned finally Memphis and some other red cities that he's going to go, I guess, clean up the crime. Um, yeah, I don't know. It seems like he could do like it could be done a lot less expensively without all the fucking tension and law breaking. You know, just by maybe funding and supporting, like funding law enforcement in a way that ensures we have well trained, capable people. By capable, I mean maybe we shouldn't be letting 18-year-old Jimmy, who has a bunch of fucking Nazi emblems on his fucking high school yearbook, right? Maybe he shouldn't be considered for a local police officer position. Let's fund really strong, competent law enforcement. Let's make them competent by giving them the tools that they need and the diversity, like with dealing with folks with mental health challenges, right? You can't expect Jimmy, who just fucking barely passed high school and went through a fucking 8-week fucking police academy, to understand how to deal with someone that has suffered from mental health issues their whole life. That's why shit ends badly. That's the kind of policing we should not be funding. We should be funding doubly the policing that is going to properly, work through and use some common sense approaches, considering it's 2025, right? We can probably do better. I know we can. Jay says we can do better. I've said we can do better. I believe that you guys feel that as well. And we'll see what we can get done. We'll see how much of an improvement I can make when I get back. So I'm going to go make a cocktail, do a little BRB bathroom break. If you guys give me like 5 or 6-ish minutes, I'll see you again soon, all right? All right. Hang tight.
anything, anything, anything. Well, I've got mindless, contentment. Yes, I've got mindless, contentment. Well, I've got mindless, contentment.
And I'm back. I don't think you stink, A-Bear. You know I love you. Could be a smart ass and say, you know what rotten attitudes we have, right? Supposedly. Macaroni, what's up, brother? Cheers to you. Yeah, I don't know how folks do it. Like, I'd be freaked out. Like, you don't get a lot of chances around bears. Like, I know they're pretty. I remember as a kid camping across the main highway there from uh, Lake Superior up in Marquette, right? The very tip of the Upper Peninsula. And we got up in the morning and went down to the beach, walked across the highway from the campground to the beach. There's bear tracks up and down the beach. It's like, holy shit, literally like 100 yards from the campground. It's like, and I mean, obviously is a campground. And so the fires and people moving around, I guess, but man, they learn that there's food associated with people and shit's crazy, but they're not slow, and I just can't imagine accidentally coming across I suppose it doesn't happen a lot, but I wouldn't want that. I wouldn't want to have to fucking worry about cleaning my pants out after that, coming across a mama and her cubs. Mary, what's up with you? It's been a while. Yeah, cheers to you, sister. We're all good here. Well, kinda. We're maintaining, trying to get through, Trying to, stay. Keep it real. Trying to stay safe. Wonder what's going on. How are we going to deal with it all? Staying true, I guess. About all we can do. Sorry, I am looking around a minute. So I got mindless contentment. What do you got? I know. I was hoping to have my merch store up and open by time I streamed again, but I don't. So I can't do a dab. Let's see if I can get a hit off this vape pen. Mary says she's lucky as heck as she sold her winter place in Florida. I've been preparing for things to get really fucked up. Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. My kids are, well, my oldest, her husband, and my only three grandkids are moving to Florida, actually. But he was offered a really great job. I worry about them more with being down there with the storms, even though there's usually a good amount of time, good amount of warning or notice with hurricanes, but I was tracking that hurricane that brushed past Hawaii earlier in the week. September, so October, November, really kind of been pretty lucky, I think, right, guys? Even though it seems like, I mean, we're into September now. This is really peak hurricane season as far as water temperatures go. I think right now they should be about as high on average as they ever get. These forecasts have been changing quite a bit over a day. What the hell? Why is that like that? Really? That's fucking strange. All right, maybe this isn't going to be worth screwing around. It's not. I was going to show you guys the storm that's going to be forming just off South Carolina coast around Monday. And it's going to weaken, but it does look like it's going to make landfall around the Barrier Islands on Wednesday or something, but it's literally may not even be hurricane level at that time, so that's good. It's been that's going to be next Friday, and that is a pretty big storm. Let's hope that goes north. There's the one forming off the East Coast on Monday, but again, that shouldn't cause any problems. This one is a little bit more scarier, but oh, where those storms going? Well, they usually they're always heading west. They form off the west coast of Africa, and that's where I like watching it from. I don't know if yeah. There I end it. switched, but they can't really predict them, Mary, too far out, farther than 7 days. And they have been, like, this has been a weird season. I've been watching this stuff for not forever, but the last 4 or 5 years probably. And they've really been sporadic, like where and when they form and how fast they fall apart. Let's hope we get through this season. Let's hope this fucking season changes our averages big time. Oh, my kids will be in Dunedin, Florida. Doesn't look like any of those storms are going to affect Florida at all. Dunedin, which is yeah, I don't know, like an hour and a half southwest of Orlando or something. Yeah, it's strange, man. Like, I don't pretend to be some fucking profile expert or even close, and none of us have pretended or made that claim. But yeah, unfortunately, there are far left radicals out there that do this sort of shit. Like people who, and it's not an excuse, but these people have been, Jay used the word marginalized earlier, and it's like there's folks on the right or on the far left, rather they're part of the trans community, and I don't want to say that is the case. I'm just saying we all know that there are individuals and groups of folks, minority groups that have been not just marginalized, have been fucking trashed, targeted in the worst ways, right? I mean, I don't know. I can't imagine what some of these folks feel like just having to go out in public every day, for their jobs, and just always having to be, worried about because of who they are. It's like, I don't ever have to worry about my fucking safety because I married a woman. You know what I mean? It's fucking crazy. And so I don't see how it's that difficult to determine for the most part, right? Like in all these cases, especially if there's a manifesto or if there isn't, social media comes out, any sort of public knowledge, social media knowledge that we're able to gain on these folks. For sure, there's folks on the far left that have been radicalized and have issues, and but to say, it's a fucking red herring, right? Keep wanting to say dog whistle, but it's a fucking red herring when you have this massive religion in our country, Christianity, saying that they're like a fucking acting like they're some sort of victimized, targeted minority. It's like, nobody's targeting you. Just stop fucking trying to limit people's rights because of your religious beliefs, right? Like, just stop intimidating folks by carrying your guns around and calling someone that isn't straight a fag or a fucking homo or whatever. Why not? I mean, they're not out there every day or at all, with them being the ones that are clearly under threat, like fucking marching up and down in front of your church. That's not happening. Meanwhile, you have fucking mega churches and church leaders all over that are being involved with fucking child trafficking, sex trafficking, whatever. James, what's up, brother? Cheers to you. Happy weekend. I almost put my fucking 49ers hat on, James, instead of this do-rag. I don't know where it is, though. I have it up here somewhere. Mary says some gun freaks just want to kill someone, anyone. Yeah, I absolutely believe that. They are, like, I think that's why, well, and some of them are even, I don't know if it's more twisted, Mary, or just as twisted, but like some of the folks that I've dealt with the last 2 days that are familiar with my channel and whatnot, like just implying what an absolute far left radicalized violent, streamer I am. And anybody who's been here at all for more than 5 minutes knows there couldn't be anything farther from the truth, right? But they would not stop hammering down on it. It's like, you guys would get a fucking boner if you all of a sudden heard that something terrible had because I've talked to some fucking Trumpers right in my area, right? Like within a couple hours. Darlene, she's not a Trumper, but she's not far from me. So there's a few folks that Ted Couch, again, another, he's not a fucking Trumper, but he's like less than an hour from me. So unfortunately, there are some fucking hardcore right-wing nuts that aren't very far from me. Not a ton. 1 or 2. AP supposedly lives in the UP or Wisconsin or something. There's Jeff Mack, though I don't agree with him at all. Jeff Mack is a streamer that's just like 30 minutes north of me right here on the lake shore. We've talked and stuff, but he won't deal with me because he's a youngster and just doesn't have the debate skills. So yeah, it's just a fucking it's a crock of shit because you never see folks on the left having a love affair with their boom boom sticks, right? You guys know my position. I am a common sense supporter of gun rights. But it's like, I don't talk about cars. I don't talk about my shovel or my lawnmower. You know what I mean? I don't talk about my kitchen sink. It's a tool. It's not some sort of destination, Being a gun owner isn't like any sort of accomplishment. Hey, boo-boo, we can go get ourselves a picnic basket, and James will bring us a donut. My best buddy, Dave, who I miss terribly, he was our bass player. He could do a good boo-boo. I can't. The Ranger's not going to like this, Yogi. See what I mean? That wasn't even close. Yeah, Jay, you notice I didn't say guitars. I said cars, right? Cars, kitchen sink, shovel. Of course, we talk about our instruments. Jay, I was thinking about you, unfortunately, and I hope it doesn't fucking creep you out, but I was thinking about you early this morning. Do you, I know you were a music major, but, and so I assume you must, because I think about, it's like you're such a humble dude, and like it's taken us all these years, I feel like, to get you to fucking start posting music, and I hope you're glad you have. Not that we've gotten you, that we were the ones that made you finally do it, but we're all thankful you have. I'm guessing that you're pretty happy that you've started posting some stuff, but I was thinking, God, I hope that fucker doesn't play the guitar at all. But you must play some strings, right? I mean, obviously a keyboard. But I do remember, and I don't know what the proper term would be. I swear, and I could be wrong, but that you did tell me one time you're a music major, but you spent most of your time learning woodwinds. Is that right? Or anything that you would blow on? I know that you spent some time doing like some specific percussion stuff, like specifically, I remember you telling me you spent a bunch of time learning working on just the real subtle nuances of like a triangle. You do play guitar. I had to assume that you do know how to play guitar and other some stringed instruments. All right, so I remembered that right. Cool. Sometimes I worry about my memory, brother, and just like all the awesome time and times I will and have spent just yapping with my wife or other friends, I look to a lot of you guys, at a lot of you folks like that. Like, yeah. It wouldn't be any different for me. I know that, like, if we were just sitting in the same room yapping, you'd get the same TV. And I believe I'd get the same of you guys, too. I try to retain stuff that I know is important to you guys because it means a lot to me. I don't know what Jay, whenever I'm in the truck, I'm usually listening to NPR, right? And so obviously they play a lot. They have their different programs. Like, you guys know my favorite, Put a Mile World Music, on Sunday nights at 8 p.m., at least here in West Michigan. It took me a long time to really get into jazz, but I was telling, who was I? Did I say that to the other day? I'm like, man, I really do love jazz music. Maybe it was me and Putin talking. Or I've really come to love jazz. And it's such a fucking broad term, right? Jay knows that. I mean, because really, I guess if I could be a little bit more precise, even though it isn't, it's still a broad term, like jazz fusion. Because just people taking, and it's just the rhythms and the as much as I love rock and roll, kind of leaving that simplicity of the 4/4 timing and the 12 count blues or whatever. And but when I was in either last grade of like elementary school or very early junior high, might have been early junior high, I remember often going to the high school to watch the high school play, the seniors plays, and like Annie Get Your Gun and Peter and the Wolf, and I'll never forget Peter and the Wolf with that oboe. Like for whatever reason, that soundtrack, you would think, and it's like, it's not very long. It's like 20 minutes or something, 25 minutes maybe. So it's not super long, and it's not, there are half of it just doesn't have any sort of rhythm to it necessarily, right? So good, man. The oboe always stuck out to me. I'm like, that is the coolest fucking sounding instrument. A Bear says she can barely play an MP3. Oh, table sitar. God, who did I just? I don't know if it was a sitar. It may have been. I think I shared somebody with you guys not too long ago that YouTube suggested this female artist. Laura, what's up, sister? Cheers to you. I'm not going to encourage James at all. I'll just let him and A Bear do their thing. Are they mossy trees or something, James, that throw down, yeah, a lot of pollen, probably, huh? Not the leaves, not shedding the leaves, probably shedding pollen. Mulch glue. I don't know what's going on there. Mary says, good idea. Think I can spray him with mulch glue? I've never heard of mulch glue. Are you guys being funny? So all I know, Mary, is you can trust James for dessert information. I don't know about lawn care. You would think he would be great at it, landscaping, and could very well be. With as much time as he said insist, he's forced to do it. 13 sympathetic strings. Jay, I'll bet I shared this lady with you. I'm probably not going to find her, brother, because, yeah, I cleared out all my YouTube history. And I don't even know that it was a sitar that she was playing. It was. Okay, now if I can just find her. Is it Nanashoka? I think this is her, but this is from 14 years ago. It's a brand new. Come on, YouTube. I don't know. I don't want to sit here scrolling with my mouth open. You're probably familiar with her anyways. I'm sure, and you may have, but this was like a brand new album and concert that she did. It was pretty good. I don't pretend to be into all of it because I'm not. I really struggle no matter if it's what kind of music it is. I have a hard time listening to anything that isn't really upbeat anymore. Man, I wanted to share this though because it was really fucking cool. You could just like, I just appreciate musicians who are so fucking good and dedicated and experienced, and then you can just still see that they're unable to explain what music does to them. You know what I mean? I think that's awesome. Hold on. Trying to see if I can share this.
Compton, but it's a little bit confusing because there's actually another very similar call on Compton, but back in their city. We're all the way in Westminster now, so they are trying to get CH here for Compton.
Little car chase. Kind of quiet.
5 here, coming up to Springdale. Again, they are trying to get CHP behind this one. They're not here yet, but the Sheriff's Department airstrip.
I do. Bear asks if I like oh, sorry. I started reading comments and then stopped. Laura says, I love watching Harpo Marx play his harp. Bear asks if I like New Orleans jazz. It kind of. Some of it, right? I think I know what you mean, like the really sort of upbeat. Yeah, for a little bit. I mean, it has like, I mean, I can only do so much of that kind of marching band stuff, and not to. I'm always like trying to be over careful about labeling music, right? Mm-hmm. I am familiar with Tuba Skinny. Mary says, I think guitars are hard to learn. I can play 14 notes of Louie. Bam, bam, bam. Bam, 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 bam. You can find any spot on the guitar and just start on your E string, drop straight down to your A string in that same fret, and then stay on your A string. And you don't have to start on your E or A, and then go down a full step, back up, just those 3 notes. So you could play Louie, Hang On Sloopy, and Wild Thing anywhere on the guitar you want. So all you got to do is get the pattern right. In fact, we did that. We melded those 3. So we were such a hard rock band, like literally like 96, 97, right? But we needed material because we were playing bars, and we had a shit ton of original material, which they allowed us to play, a good 40% original stuff because we had such a decent following, and our original stuff, we had a lot of 90s style, like alternative heavy rock metal shit. Like, I don't want to compare or say we're anything like the grunge bands or the alternative bands or like the fucking, Godsmacks or anything like that. We were just, I don't know, a cross between like Stained and, Better Than Ezra or the Gin Blossoms or something maybe. Louie. Oh, baby. You got to go. Do, 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 do. The nights. Nights and days since you went away. I love me some fucking 50s, 60s rock and roll, though, for sure. Like the Hollywood Argyles with Alley-Oop, Bobby Turner, and is it Bobby Turner and Tossing and Turning? I couldn't sleep at all last night. Do, 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 just a thinking of you. Man, that's good shit. Jumped out of bed, turned on the lights, pulled up the shade, went down to the kitchen for a bite. That's pretty good, A-Bear. So she danced on stage with Otis Day in the Nights to shout, kick my heels up and shout. I said, wait a minute.
Is a carjacking suspect. Now, the good news is that the guy is alone in the vehicle by himself, but I did hear on the scanner how sheriff's deputies were talking about how the mom and the children were no longer in the vehicle, so that leads us to believe that at some point they... Okay.
Well, that's good. Yeah, that's a little bit different than just a fucking stolen car. They carjacked it. Jesus Christ, man. James says the U.S. is on the brink of another era of political violence, and Donald Trump couldn't care less. Jonathan Friedland, The Guardian. Thanks, James. I don't know if I'll... What time is it? Yeah, I'm probably not going to be going for too much longer, so... But I got that article. Thanks, brother. Yeah, it's... James, I don't know if you were listening at all, but I yapped a little bit about that at the beginning, that, like, the folks that can calm this down, who have the power on the right, who have the ability to bring down the temperature, aren't going to. And they live in safe neighborhoods. They have the, the wealth, I guess, the funds available to do certain things and live in a way where they won't be in the areas where all hell's going to break loose, right? Like I was saying, if it's just, old influential folks that have influence in the political circles, but aren't out there doing speeches and that sort of stuff, they can just sit back and, even if they disagree with what's going on, they, them just sitting back and saying nothing, because even though they may disagree with how violent the right is getting, it's not going to affect them, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. And really, we can have the most common sense respect. Like, there are voices on the left that folks on sane folks on the right do respect, right? There's still some of that, very little, right? Maybe with our older representatives and senators, right? That amongst them from different parties, there's still this, thankfully, this old fashioned sort of respect and limit, but they're not, even the folks on the left that have the strongest voices and the most respect across the board, their voice isn't going to make any difference. It's going to be up to the folks on the right to make, to, they're the only ones that have the ability to bring the temperature down. Like, the left could go silent, and that's exactly what they want. But even if we did, that would almost, like, I feel like there would be a sect that it would embolden to go farther then, right? So we're in a very tough, scary spot, I think. I like that. I think I got to take notes on that. I may have to do a little. I keep thinking about doing posts, and maybe it's a bad excuse, but, like, I mean, maybe there's some truth to both. Like, I just feel like I don't know. Maybe there's nothing. Maybe I'm just. It's all being lazy. I don't do a lot of posts, like just short 10, 15-minute posts on my thoughts, because for one, I feel like, I know it probably sounds really fucking stupid, but I feel like I completely do not come across as genuine or whatever when I do those posts, right? Like, you guys are just getting the raw me, and I don't ever have anything to be ashamed about, but, like, maybe I just put too much thought into that kind of shit, and it just turned, to me, it just always sound, when I listen back, like, I don't have a problem listening back to my streams. Like, it's rare that I make myself cringe. It's way more often when I make videos. I've done it a lot, put time into them, just a 10 or 15-minute post, and I'll go, okay, that's done. I'll watch it back and go, God damn it, this is stupid. And I keep hacking. Calling Gloria, Gloria. Mm, 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 mm. Laura, this whole fucking thing, it's a fucking mess. I don't know if Laura still has her ears on. I can't do it. I can't be crying about this fucking YouTube shit while I'm streaming, but God, it's been such a fucking hassle trying to get my merchandise set up, get my fucking payment set up. Just, and it's not. It's like people are doing it. Kids are doing it. That's what I need to do. I need to get my daughter, my youngest, over here and have her help me set this shit up. I'm not even kidding. Mary says, do you have a live schedule? I've been trying to catch your... No, I don't, sister. All I can say is, like, anytime I'm going to be on, it's going to be between, like, 7, 8 o'clock. I'm going to get started. I wish I was doing more. I force myself to. If I've gone almost a week, I have to do an on-cam stream. It's always going to be like prime time. but I've been streaming any still just to keep the channel as active as possible too. I've been streaming any relevant pressers, sometimes the House floor proceedings, right? Senate votes. Trump pressers, the Trump Oval Office pressers have been a big hit. Oh, the Bernie Sanders rallies, right? The Stop the Oligarch rallies. That's been a big help to keeping the channel active. Oh yeah, no worries, Laura. Yeah, I've gone a couple stops and it's like I clicked on the Spotify. You have to download it to get it started. But it isn't real clear like before that if there's any cost. It says get started for free. And I guess I just want to do like if there's going to be any cost at all right now for me to set up a store, then it's not going to happen. And that sucks, but I guess I just have to see. Even if they say, oh, you know, your first month is free and then I have to cancel all that shit, that would be fine with me because I just want to learn the process. Yeah, I wish there was somebody that I could talk to because I'm terrible. I'm not terrible at research. I just never get the answers I want, right? Or explained to me in a way that my dumb ass needs explaining. So, like I'm really curious about the branding. I've turned on branding, though it's right, like as you know, it's a whole separate thing from like your merchandise, but has nothing, it's not related at all. It could be. But like I got it on. I've already been receiving offers and shit, and it's like I don't even fucking open them or look at it because I have no clue about how to what to accept. I mean, I understand about scams and all that shit. That's not a big deal. It's yeah, I just don't want to go that far yet. Yeah, I didn't realize what a fucking idiot I am, Laura. I'm telling you. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? I mean, I'm so frustrated with myself that I cannot wrap my mind around how some of this shit works. Like just trying to get my account set up, Laura, with Google, right? Like I just this past week, I gave them my, I was already registered with AdSense and all that shit last year, but just gave them my bank account information and all that crap. And they do a test deposit. Well, it didn't hit. So I don't know what to think. And I don't, even though that's like a slow way of doing it, I'd rather get to where I have it. I do have my Venmo account. I set one up, though I was never able to get my QR code set up. So I stopped fucking with it that night. And it looks like I can use that for account source for Google, but I'm terrible at fucking procrastinating. Yeah, original design stolen back in the 80s. I wonder about, there isn't anything about my artwork that I'm concerned about. Well, I think nowadays I would literally raise hell. And if any of my shit's on here, you know what I mean? Like in all my music I send to myself, and plus I've dealt, even, especially with like, the shit couple tunes that I have completed, like I've sent back and forth with like Mac. So that's all, that's how we used to do it back in the day. We sent the master copies of our music to ourselves in the mail and just kept that package. Howie, what's up, brother? I'm not too hard on myself. I'm bummed about, oh, here we go. All right. Enough of that. Enough of that. I know, Howie, but TV ain't got fucking funds for all that shit, man. I live more humbly than folks might imagine. Trying, it's a struggle. Like I want to get into it. I don't want to start fucking whining about what a fucking fuck up I am. Plus, it's crazy to think. I don't know. I'll tell you, with like she said, obviously not with me singing. It could be. I don't know. I don't think it would need to be rearranged much differently at all. I think you could take the song exactly as I wrote it, played it, and put a really good vocalist on it, and it would be a fucking badass song. Yeah, I'm sorry. That's my sense of humor, self-deprecating. Some of it. Don't worry. I'll switch gears in a minute and start fucking beating on one of you guys. Sooner or later, I'll run out of material on myself and I'll start being I'll start beating up on James or whatever. I don't have a problem with that. Oh, yeah, pro bono. Well, oh, yeah. That's if anybody ever stole my shit, Howie, right? I gotcha. I don't see that happening. But I tell you what, I wouldn't be a bit surprised if big-time music producers out there fucking scoping YouTube. I would be. Right? Like if I had even a half-ass band that was in search of somebody specific to join the band, that's how I'd be doing it. And plus, accomplished musicians, even if somebody puts out a piece that's not very refined, it's that hook. Does it have the melody? Does it have the hook? And then you can work with it. And usually, like, I would have to think about it. Probably hasn't been any, well, Wet Leg. Those guys are good as hell, and they just released their second album. But like, and I can tell you literally, like, Wet Leg, when I seen them in 2022 for Coachella on YouTube, I was fucking instantly hooked, blown away. That shit doesn't happen. Maybe you guys know what I'm talking about. Like, it's so rare that, and it's not that you don't come across newer stuff that's good that, kind of works on you or even necessarily takes a long time. It's just, to me, it doesn't happen very often at all. Every couple years, I hear a song for the first time, and I'm like, you're just like, I still get goosebumps. My hair on my arm still stands up when I hear certain shit. But like the Pretty Reckless, Take Me Down, like probably, I don't know, 2019, 2018. When I first heard that song, I was like, holy fucking shit. Because it's like that was just rock and roll and really, really good. Everything about it. A good hook, good lyrics, good rhythm, a good bridge. But not like super complicated music or anything. Just, it's a band that found, they hit their peak and were just doing writing and playing what they really loved. They weren't trying to put together a hit. And then Samantha Fish with her Gone for Good. You guys can look that up. Samantha Fish is a blues artist, rhythm, rock and roll blues artist. She's a badass vocalist. Sexy as all hell. Plays slide guitar, like kerosene can guitars, and can shred an electric guitar like nobody's business. She's the real deal all the way around. Yeah, I feel like there's just not a lot of music out there that just grabs my attention instantly. Howie says use public law offices. Yeah, yeah. I tell you what, I'd be pissed if that ever happened with one of my songs that I really, really loved. And I've even had YouTube algorithm check me on my streams, like after they post, say that there's a copyright claim, and I'd just light them up. I'm like, you guys are out of your mind. It's like, this song is mine. I put this song together. I don't care what it is you hear in the melody. And that's part of the problem. Like, I don't know if any of you get, like Laura, I don't know if you use the YouTube library music. I used to in the past with the CNN streams, right? Like when they would go to commercial, I would run some of that free music. But it's like there's copyrights on that shit, and it's like, are you kidding me? This is computer generated bullshit. Laura says, I mean that NATO is exactly what NATO has been saying he would do, but it surprised me he didn't go someplace else. He's going to try for some Japanese-owned islands or even Japan in one pre-Ukraine scenario. Let's look at God. All right. You guys, share this out. Share this out to your channel. Create a post. Click that share button, and it'll say create a post. And you can just say, watch this dumbass TV too, or whatever. I'd appreciate it. I appreciate you. I do. Let me see what, because that's one that is a biggie that I completely forgot about with all this crap. Like, you know, the 9/11 ceremonies where I knew I wasn't going to do anything on 9/11, and it's not any sort of slight. It's I don't know. I guess it would be better to get, I mean, I guess it would be better that if somebody was interested in what I thought about, just if they asked me a specific question, because it's like just a fucking tragic time in our history. Obviously, where I am, it was, even though where I am, it was a lot more personal than probably most of the country felt. And it's not, I mean, it captivated all of us, right? It's not what I'm trying to say, but it's been 24 years now, and we should always have these ceremonies every year. It's, I think you can't blame, you can't say anything. I hope nobody would think or attempt to think or say anything negative about Charlie Kirk in this way. But obviously that headline buried any sort of 9/11 ceremonies or attention for it, right? And I wish we could. It's too bad that the right seriously wouldn't take this tragedy and use it. If they're going to use it, if it's going to be used at all, why not get so much out of it by saying, just really going complete 180 from what it seems like most of them are, and not use it as something to bring the MAGA party together in light of all the Epstein bullshit and the tariffs that half of them don't agree with, but to bring the country together more like with, I don't want to compare Charlie Kirk to any real historic heroes in our history, but because it's just not fair either way, right? So I think, but this has that carries that sort of weight and momentum, right? As some of the worst assassinations in our country's history that you can think of, right? It's carrying that same sort of attention. I'm not going to deny it. When you have someone like Charlie Kirk who demands attention and has commanded respect, I guess, from a lot of folks on the right, at least. You got to I think you can't just say you can't ignore them. I think they deserve to be listened to. And supposedly that's what Charlie Kirk was about, was inviting debate and encouraging debate from folks of all different views. And certainly he didn't like try to tamp that down or stop that. But you have to go, you can't just go by, this is what Charlie Kirk wanted, because he set up these rallies and these public engagements where he invited folks that have opposite views of him to come and speak with him. You can't deny that. That's not a resolution. That's not him being diplomatic, or that's not him being democratic. That's him being diplomatic. There's a big difference. And I can't put words in his mouth, and I wouldn't, but I don't have to. So he wasn't, sure, again, he gave people a platform with different views than him to come and voice those opinions and concerns. But his goal was to change those opinions and views. I mean, he was clear about that. That's what he wanted to do, was influence folks. And to be honest, we've seen it. They're attributing, and I can't argue against it, even though obviously when you do polling and there's percentages involved with how much has someone like Charlie Kirk turned the average Democrat or the average college body that, through whatever time period leaned more liberal or left. And, there's like when college campuses are polled now, there is a clear shift to the right. Not saying that it's a majority. I'm saying there has been a clear shift of some folks, many folks, from a more liberal view to a more conservative view in polls. And those aren't going to be exact or perfect, but I do believe there has been a shift. And I it's because of folks like Charlie Kirk, right? So you can't ignore them. And you can't, even if you want to, I wouldn't. I didn't, like I said, I never spent a bunch of time watching them, but it's not because I'm like, oh, I can't fucking watch this douchebag. It was, that's how I feel about people like Salty Cracker. It's like, there's nothing to gain. My guess, I did a lot of reading, not on Kirk last night, but from Kirk, right? So, because I think, well, if I'm going to fucking have any opinion, I should probably know, exactly where he stood and came from. Laura says his wife is vowing to unleash Christian hell on the country. Oh, no way, Laura. Get the fuck out of here. Yeah, grab that for me. Yeah, if it's a link, let me see it. Yeah, all this is very tough. I hope you guys will think about what I was saying. Not that it's genius. I hope you'll, think about it at least for a minute and be like, well, TV, this is where the holes are massive in your theory, but like, I don't think it sucks. Like the most respected and listen to voices on the left don't just, I'm not saying we shouldn't, I'm saying we just don't have, not me, but whoever those folks are, they're probably like have no idea at all, kind of like me right now, like how to go on camera and what can we say? I mean, like it's the stupidest thing to have to feel pressured to say that killing people is wrong. It's like, and even, I don't know how many times I said that last night and it wasn't good enough. It wasn't good enough. What's the name of it? What's the title, Laura? Where? What's the where's the article from? If you give me the article title and the source. Hey Bear says, come on, I don't think you should expect rational behavior. I know. I don't know, but I don't, but we have to have, I think it's worth our time to be thinking about how we are going to continue to respond to this each day as we go through it. Because you guys know, like, I feel like I've been pretty calm, level-headed, neutral on these streams as far as how worked up or worried should we be about like a police state takeover. And I've hinted that I feel like it's a little bit more desperate than the temperature is in the country. And I don't mean the temperature that associated with this violent politicized shit, but just like that was my main concern, and I was pretty concerned with it, and I am still. So, but I don't. I have to tell you, I feel I am I really feel like I'm checking everything I say this whole stream tonight, and that bothers me. It really does. And it's not, and I want you guys to know, because I get this, nobody's fucking paying attention to this stream. For the most, I don't want to say I hope, but you know what I mean? Like, that's not what I think about myself. Like, I don't think that I'm not worried about, getting so much negative attention, that, because I think about you guys too, because people say a lot of, I've never said this, but people say, you guys have seen it, like, anybody associated at all with this fucking channel is a dick. I don't know. It sucks. I feel like I have to be careful about being honest, and not even like, because I have no intentions, never do come on these streams and prepared to just like do the best I can, or at all radicalize anybody in any bad way, radicalize anyone, period, right? So if I could stop, it's crazy. Yeah, I think it sucks, Laura. She's probably obviously very distraught, and we all get that. It's crazy though. I mean, why can't anybody now suffering a tragic loss like this all of a sudden come get on, in front of whoever, post a statement to the country saying that you're all going to pay for this? I mean, there's a homicide, however many, in our country every day. And this is the uncomfortable awkwardness that I keep talking about, or trying to relay how I feel, or like, what happened to Charlie Kirk is wrong, for fuck's sake. Why is it that his death is going to now all of a sudden make anyone who isn't a Christian or a Republican's life hell? How is that? How is that fucking okay? Is that what everybody should be doing now? Every time, and it's not to, you guys know me, it's not like we shouldn't be taking every homicide serious. It's how, are we going to radicalize and symbolize in some way, or martyr everyone against everybody else that doesn't have the beliefs that we did or our loved one did? Should we look up current deportation numbers? I don't know if I mentioned it last week, but certainly the week before when I streamed. So it was around 130,000 had been deported last week at some point, and still around like the most. And this could be, again, these numbers could be people turned away from the border, but the total was 335,000 over since January 20th. And that was broken down just into a couple of numbers. So here it says, as of August of 2025, U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement has deported nearly 200,000 people since President Donald Trump took office in January. However, the total number of deportations is higher when including removals carried out by other agencies such as Customs and Borders Protection, which those are literally people that are coming up to the border being turned away. That's not a deportation, but they're, again, so I was, last week it was 335,000 people, and around 40% of those were folks that they had actually had found in the interior, as they tend to call it. So total administration deportations are around 350,000. So like I said, up about 30,000 since last week or 2 weeks ago when the last time I looked at this. So we are 8 months into the Trump administration. How many 8 month periods are there in a 4-year term? 6. He's got 5 more. If you do 5 times 300,000, what is that? After 4 years at this rate, Trump's administration will have deported 1.5 million people of the 20 million that they claim Biden let in. This is, again, the kind of madness, and every time I make a fucking sarcastic statement like that, though true, you know that people are just going to be like, you hate America. You're okay with criminals running around. I'm not okay with criminals running around. I don't want a motherfucking person coming across the border through the fence. We don't have that problem. I don't want unidentified, masked, private agents. And by private, I mean controlled and paid by the executive branch. Not part of our judicial system, it seems. Or legal law enforcement. That hasn't, where are we going to be? And because we know that folks will still be coming across the border, and not just, probably, maybe not so much the southern desert border anymore, right? So it was just, did I use that red herring term right earlier? It was bullshit. It was, I couldn't even have guessed it that, I just figured Trump was using the whole immigration fear bullshit to win the election, which it helped, I'm sure. I didn't realize that it was a much bigger plan to tighten the thumb screws on society, right? To start to do away or take more control over, like we've seen him dismantle the institutions that are best able to keep him in check, and which, to be fair, every administration has the right to put in positions of power, cabinet, whatever, who they want. but we've seen them go way beyond what anybody else has done. And this is, it was all laid out in the Project 2025, Agenda 2025, whatever the hell that is. That it was, these positions were just going to be saturated with far right extremists, right? And that's what they've done. And so, how, just how we're going to deal with this now, especially after this Kirk thing. It's, yeah. It was all, and I can't, I don't know if Trump's just a fucking idiot as far as the economy and the tariffs and all that shit goes. But certainly if you start pressuring Americans, and I guess, that's a dangerous, I suppose, a really bad a tactic that could certainly come back or go the exact opposite way as they intend is make people struggle so they don't have the energy or the will to push back because they're seriously trying to eat and stay warm and keep a roof over their head, right? But then, for sure, you push enough of the masses to the breaking point. They better be a small enough percentage of the mass that you can control, because otherwise it's going to get ugly. Yeah, Mary says many aren't here illegally. Imagine being brought here as yeah, I went through that scenario the other day, sister. It's like grow up, marry, have children, and get booted. Yeah, it's very it's not American at all, is it? Cecilia Z. Ortiz says, this is what Project 2025 manifesto is all about. What do you mean by that? And what do you mean by manifesto? Why would you call it that? I'm guessing you meant manifesto. Manifito? You're saying what Trump is doing is what Project 2025 is all about. I agree. Super, what's up, brother? Super says, try to look up on YouTube Trump immigration raid instantly backfires on Trump economy. Yeah, well, we're not even there yet. We're probably there right now. I don't know if Jay still has his ears on or not. I don't know. Unfortunately, our media is failing us terribly because they're in survival mode too. And that alone, having to say that kind of makes me sick. But the media is, anybody, there's enough of us out there. We still have independent journalists, whoever, just fucking vloggers, bloggers, streamers, creators, influencers. We still have the freedom to move around. We better be moving around and asking questions while we can. So I don't know how it is out west right now. We're clearly in, and I don't pretend to know exactly the seasons, harvest seasons out there. I'm sure it's generally close to what I experience here. So we're there. Depends on the crop for sure. Yeah, I don't know what to say. We have to, other than we have, there's a lot of issues, obviously, questions still around Trump's health too, especially after, what was it? Yesterday, or was it yesterday he went to, on September 11th. I guess it was the Yankees and the Detroit Tigers. I mean, I'm not. I don't know. It just seemed. I don't know. It just seemed odd that there would be any sporting events. I guess, like major sporting events, on September 11th in New York City. I mean, if that's what, I don't know. It just seems weird. So Trump was at that game, I guess, and there's been a lot of yapping about him, one side of his face drooping and like not looking good at all, but like seriously, signs of a possible past stroke, a recent minor stroke maybe or something. I don't know. Mary says we're all going to have to move in together. Well, that'd work if we're shy on beds because I never sleep, so. All right, you guys, you have wasted almost another perfectly good 3 hours, and I appreciate it. This was a good stream. I think part of me hesitating to do it was because there's so much tension, and I also know and well aware that I am honest, straightforward anyways, right? Wear my heart and mind on my sleeve. And so, and as the person who doesn't give a fuck at the end of the day what folks think of me, because I know I'm never going to like not have self-respect, and I'm always going to have respect for those around me as they, act, I guess. I know that some people might not appreciate. So anyways, that's just going a little bit out of my way to try and not ruffle any feathers of the overly sensitive chuds. So you're welcome. Any of you Trumpers out there watching and listening or who catch this, you're welcome. If you liked any of this, you guys can leave me a comment after it posts. Tell me what a dipshit I am. Or not. Or whatever. All right, you guys be good. I'll see you soon, okay? Peace and love. TV2 out like a motherfucker.
Contentment. Well, I got mindless. Contentment. Well, I got mindless.